our audio media team that we're good. So give me just a second. And we're good. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll for the Wednesday, March 11th Oakland County Board of Commissioners meeting?
Commissioner Cavell. Here. Commissioner Erickson-Galt. Here. Commissioner Gershenson.
Here.
Commissioner Gingell is absent with excuse. Commissioner Hoffman. Commissioner Johnson is absent with excuse. Commissioner Joliet. Commissioner Long. Commissioner Lubes.
Here.
Commissioner Markham.
Here.
Commissioner Miller. Commissioner Nelson.
Here.
Commissioner Powell.
Here.
Commissioner Smiley. Commissioner Smith-Charles.
Present.
Commissioner Spiz. Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
Commissioner Weipert. Commissioner Woodward.
Here.
Mr. Chair, there is a quorum.
Thank you very much, and our other commissioners will be joining us shortly. I'm going to call on Commissioner Penny Lubes to lead us with the invocation for tonight's meeting, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. The Honorable Commissioner Penny Lubes.
Thank you. Join me in prayer. Lord of hope and light, in the midst of darkness, you offer light to all of us. Open our hearts to this day and remind us that you have marked us as people of hope and light. Prepare us to serve you by serving the world. We seek the comfort of your arms in our joys and sorrow, and the umbrella of your grace forever. Let us walk with your spirit and love each other with actions. For if we love one another, God lives in us. Amen. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Penny. We're going to jump to presentations so that we can make up some time today's meetings. First up, I'd like to call the Oakland County Community Health Network up to give their update. Andrea, is the presentation get set up? So Dana Lazenby, the CEO of Oakland Community Health Network, is here and comes regularly to give us an update on the activities of OCHN. And we welcome you this evening.
Good evening, and thank you. Thank you to this board for allowing me this opportunity to come and speak. Each quarter, I try to give updates, and lately it's been rather sooner than a quarter, so almost monthly, we've been here to share our updates. We've been through some very amazing times the last couple of months, and I always tell my team we made it through, and we continue to work hard and be focused on our mission. So with that, I'll remind you of our strategic planning. Really, if you think about it, it's really to access services, improve access to services, and expand our crisis continuum, which you have seen this past couple of months, a big work going towards that. Also, making sure that we have advocacy and partnerships with the community and with our stakeholders. We're listening to them, and this month we actually have an annual needs assessment, and the QR code will be made available. I think we have our flyers going out today also. We also are looking at how we improve a system of care so that we're wrapping around individuals who have mental health, developmental disabilities, and SUD, substance use disorder needs. And then also really looking at our workforce, continuing to develop a well-qualified and trained workforce. So with that, I'll give you the quick updates. I know there's a lot of things going on this evening. Our school mental health navigators, thank you very much to this Board of Commissioners for supporting that for the last couple of years. We see that program going away, not completely, but really being downsized. So we're hoping to continue the funding for our community mental health, school mental health navigators who really came to be in place after the Oxford tragedy, and making sure that students, teachers, parents, administrators knew how to access mental health resources outside of the school. We know the school plays a huge part in ensuring that students get their needs met. I think we all remember the school clinics. Well, those things don't exist as much as they did probably 20, 30 years ago, but we do see a comeback of our school clinics, and a lot of them are focused on physical health care. But I think since the pandemic and some other things that have happened in our community, we see the importance of getting people mental health services as quickly as possible. And a lot of times people don't know how to access their services until they really, really need them. So we have our school mental health navigators who serve the entire community of Oakland County, and they go to various schools doing events and trainings and really just connecting and doing the follow-up care and making sure people are having that access to those mental health services. And one of the things that came out of it also is that families that are in transition, they have family members who have developmental disabilities, and they're going out of high school and into the adult world, like all of us, and they need help with that transitioning, making sure they have the continued support and services that they need. Then we also have our veterans navigators, and I'm always bragging on our veterans navigators like we have so many, but we have 2 people or 3 people that do the work of hundreds, and we've had some amazing events and contacts with our veterans navigators. And one even interesting story, we had a gentleman who actually lived in a wooded area in Southfield, and one of our veterans navigators was able to go out and continue to work with this individual. And now he has his own apartment, he's working. So that's some of the success that we're seeing for people. Instead of just the numbers, we actually see how the programs are impacting people. So thank you again for your support with that. Secondly, we have our behavioral health clinicians, and this all ties back to our strategic planning and improving access to care and expanding those access points in which people can reach out and get those services. So in a partnership with the Oakland County Health Department, we have an individual mental health clinician who actually works at the Southfield office and has been able to really connect people to those mental health services that they need. When they're coming there for other things, we found that there's a huge request for mental health support, people who are experiencing substance use disorder and need help with that, as well as families who are trying to access resources and supports for their loved ones who have developmental disabilities. So you can see from the numbers, this is just over a quarter where we have 111 individuals who had referrals, number of community resources, just giving them the information so they can use it when they need it, 10, and the number of crisis resources that were given, 40. And this is just one individual in the Southfield Oakland County Health Department office. So we're making a huge change in how people see and access those resources. Secondly, our sober support unit. And I can't really talk about our sober support unit until I talk about our crisis transition, which many of you in this room have heard about over the last few months. Actually, on January 29th, we took over the crisis transition services at the Resource and Crisis Center that was formerly being provided by Common Ground in that space. We never shut down. We did not miss a beat. We continue to work on making and building up our capacity to serve people in crisis. We have individuals who come in for assessments and screenings. We have phone calls available, calling available for people to reach out to us. Our sober support unit is still available for anybody who needs treatment. They can be screened and triaged and assessed to go to a treatment provider. And this just provides a safe space for the individuals while they wait for the treatment provider to either pick them up or some form of transport to the appropriate setting. And so with that, year to date, we've served 504 people, and individuals who followed through with treatment, 482. So we're really proud of the work that we're doing to get people not just addressing their immediate need, but getting them engaged and connected to those much needed services. Our law enforcement co-responders, or CORE, referrals, 11,414 since we started. Thank you. Since we started, and you can see the various communities in which we exist. Our COO, Trish, often goes to the chief of police meetings. She actually went to one today. I sometimes wonder why she's hanging out there, but they are really pleased with the work that we're doing, and we're working with them, not just doing the work for them. And we also do crisis intervention team training, which is a 40-hour training for our law enforcement officers. It's not to replace what they do, but give them the tools in their toolbox to address an individual who's in crisis for various reasons. And what happens when our clinical staff people go out with them. These are licensed clinicians, go out with the law enforcement officers. They're able to make sure that they're connected to services, and we can divert people from being arrested and taken to jail and actually get them into treatment and services. And the other benefit to that, thank you, is the follow-up our core members do, our core staff team members do, is that they're able to call people the next day and the next day and the next to make sure they're connected. Because when we think about what we do, it's on a continuum. We don't want to just check off a box and say we provided a service. We really want to make sure that people stay engaged and they have sustainable outcomes, things that stick. And we know it takes some time sometimes for people to get the care that they need, to get to the best that they can be, and that's any one of us in this room. But we really want to make sure that people are engaged and get those services and supports. So if you look at our referrals for fiscal year 26 so far, 1,928, 2% arrest rate. So of all the people they come in contact with, there's a 2% arrest rate. We really have made a dent in the number of people who are going to jail. Okay. And 47% of those individuals remain in the community and are supported in the community. And a big portion of these individuals, we take them to the Resource and Crisis Center right here on this campus. So crisis intervention team updates, I already told you about this, but we're our platinum status, which is the highest certification you can receive for CIT International, which is the crisis intervention team training. So we're very proud of that. We did not do it on our own at all. Many of the law enforcement officers are here today, and we thank you because we did this in partnership with you. The training and just the buy-in. You have to change the culture of how you present this program, how you engage in it, and it becomes more than a program and a training. It actually is a way of doing community policing and providing those mental health services and supports. So since 2015, when we started this 40-hour training, we have trained more than 1,300 law enforcement officers in Oakland County alone. And we continue to. Strengthening our crisis services. Again, this was a big shift for us. We thought we had additional time, almost a whole year to make this transition. And so we pivoted very quickly, and I'm very proud of our team. They're actually over there now. We have a chief medical officer, Dr. Posios, who is a board-certified forensic psychiatrist on hand. We also have our Dr. Said, who also provides services in the jail as well. So they're working really hard with a team of staff that we have. Some of them have been acquired from Common Ground, and others have been new hires that we have to make sure that we're fully staffed. Originally, we're still waiting to get a licensing for our crisis residential unit, and once we receive that, we will be able to support 12 to 14 individuals for up to 5 to 7 days in a crisis residential unit there on campus. And we also have a crisis stabilization unit, and we're looking for accreditation from the state, and we're hearing from them every day. They're very much invested in us having services up to capacity as they were last year. And better, I have to tell you, it's absolutely better. So if any of you happen to go into our Resource and Crisis Center, they should be greeting you with a smile. Customer service is very important, and it's part of our model of care. When we have individuals who are coming to or seeking crisis services and supports, and their families are coming to us with help, they're very vulnerable, and we want to make sure that they're received and supported and connected to whatever they need. So am I going the wrong way? I think so. Okay, and Sarah, here's some of the crisis data thus far in terms of what we've done since January 29th. Like I said, we had to really pivot. We worked with our partners, who I'll thank here, many of the hospitals in this community, McLaren Oakland, as well as Pontiac General Hospital has reopened, and we're working closely with them to support individuals who may need immediate care in terms of hospitalization. But we're still working on diversions. We want to keep people in the community if at all possible. So if they show up and there's somewhere else that we can help them get the services and support they need, we would prefer to send them in the community, engage them in community-based services so that they can engage with their family and their community as opposed to being in a facility type service, which is the highest level of need. So we look at strengths and threats to what we have dealt with in the last few years, and here's part of what we're working on for fiscal year 26 through 28. I'll just say the biggest things that are ahead of us is always a threat of privatization, and we just overcome a RFP that was issued by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, the state of Michigan, to bid out public or community mental health services and make the regional entities reduced down from 10 to 3. So that was a huge challenge for us, and we thank you for your advocacy and support, because we know and we believe in the community mental health system, and we know that people in this community have every right to be a part of any services and supports that we design and implement. So we can't do it without you. So that's why you'll see our needs assessment. Hopefully later on we're passing out that code. And the threats are always funding, of course, and I think you see it on a federal level and then on a state level where Medicaid dollars are being reduced, and we want to make sure that we serve the most vulnerable people in our community and we connect people to those community resources and supports when they need it. So I think that's all I have today, and thank you so much for this opportunity, as always, to present.
Thank you. Thank you, Dana. Thank you for keeping us abreast. I think our partnership with OCHN speaks for itself. I heard the applause. Applause was appropriate with the co-responder program. The success of that is not only just the resources that this board has allocated to help stand it up and support it, but the cooperation with law enforcement agencies all across this county, that making it serious, rethinking the way we interact with the public in a moment of crisis, and the results speak for themselves. So thank you very much. Is there more Commissioner able to join us? Is there any questions for Dana? Commissioner Cavell.
Thank you, Chair. Dana, just because we have a lot more folks here, could you take a step back and give like a high level, how big is your budget? How many people do you help a year?
Okay.
Just to give a
Thank you.
101.
Commissioner Cavell, we don't have time for that. We've got a very big agenda, so.
We
This
do
is
have
this
a
is a
flyer
presentation,
handout.
this is a report back to us per our agreement with OCHN, and so at a future date, we can do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dana. Another round of applause for Dana. Thank you. Okay, we're going to come back up, and just for my colleagues that are able, are joining in, that we jumped to an OCHN presentation to kind of keep things moving. So, but we need to jump up to the top and approve the minutes dated from our February 19th agenda. So, if I get a motion by Commissioner Lube, seconded by Commissioner Long, to approve the minutes from the February 19th meeting. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. 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 Opposed say nay. Let the record reflect that minutes are approved unanimously. And then may we get an approval of the agenda as presented. Most of the items on the consent agenda, moved by Commissioner Joliet, seconded by Commissioner Taylor. Any discussion on items on the agenda? Commissioner Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to bring attention to consent agenda item D under public health and safety, which is the resolution allocating funding for increased marine patrol on Oakland County lakes. I just wanted to say that 3 years ago we launched, this board established the program to increase marine patrols on our lakes throughout Oakland County. And I'm really pleased to see that the same data-driven criteria will continue to be used to guide where additional marine patrols will be on our lakes this summer. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nelson. Any further discussion, approval of the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the agenda say aye. 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 Opposed say nay. Let the record reflect that the agenda is approved. All right, now we're going to go back to presentations, and we're going to get to the top of the list here, and this is the Women's History Month Awards, and I will call on our Commissioner Powell will lead us in the presentation of awarding some extraordinary women across our county at Women's History Month.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hello, I'm Oakland County Commissioner Angela Powell. My district is number 9, and it is the wonderful city of Pontiac and portions of Bloomfield Township. Welcome you all here today. So, after I got out of the introduction, okay, tonight we are here to celebrate, we are celebrating March as Women's History Month with the board's Women's History Month Award. I am excited to welcome 6 amazing Oakland County women who are here to receive this year's recognition. Thank you for joining us. The 5th Annual Women's History Month Award highlights outstanding women in our communities who are making an impact through their careers, volunteering, public service, and so much more. Each year, commissioners are invited to submit a name of a woman in their district who is deserving of the recognition. Please join me in welcoming the recipients of 2026 Women's History Month Award, and I'll kick it off with one of my favorite people from my city of Pontiac, even though she don't live there no more, but she was born and raised there, and she's still doing a lot of work there, Miss Kaniqua Coco Mulder. Can you join me up here? So I'm going to refer to her as Coco, because that's what we refer to her in the city of Pontiac. I've been knowing Miss Coco since I was a very little girl, and her whole family, so thank you all for joining her. Y'all know she's a blessing to us. She's helping a lot of people in our community. So I did a very, very short bio, because you have a very long, extensive bio, so I'm going to let you tell them a little bit more about yourself, but let me introduce you from what I wrote up. Okay. So, Kaniqua Coco Mulder has dedicated herself to advancing youth education. Born and raised in Pontiac, she has always been passionate about making sure members of her community have access to a high-quality education. Over the years, she has worn many hats in the educational field, consistently working to create opportunities for students and families in the city of Pontiac, but also throughout Oakland County and this state. She currently serves as the director, and is that the director? What's your executive director? Executive director, excuse me, let me put that on there, of the Pontiac Promise Zones, where she helps students and adults in the city of Pontiac secure funding to pursue post-secondary degrees and trade school certificates. Thank you for being a fearless advocate and supporter within our resilient communities. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. I have to go get her plaque, but I'm gonna let her say a few words. So come on over here.
She has to go
She
get.
ain't shy from the mic either.
Absolutely not. I really don't need a microphone, but what I want to say is thank you to the commissioner and to the county commission for even acknowledging the great work that women in this community are doing. It is a selfless job that we do when we're working with young people in particular. I have the opportunity to give students who live and graduate from the community of Pontiac a scholarship to the tune of $70,000.
Yes.
And I don't take that lightly. We are in challenging times. Our goal is to let students choose what their post-secondary opportunities would look like. Trying to meet the governor's 60 by 30. Oakland County is above 60%, but our students in Pontiac need to really focus on what that would look like by returning back into the community and giving back to what they have afforded them or what we afford them, and that is through tax dollars. That is through you all putting forth the effort for our students to do well, to choose to do well. I appreciate also that I am also the chair of the Michigan Promise Zone Association, where I get to guide the other 13 zones in the state of Michigan to make these same challenging choices for our kids. We started out with $28,000, and within 5 years, I've moved the funding to $70,000. That tells you how much it is costing our kids to not be in debt. And so if I can help any student in our community walk away with a college degree or a certificate or a skilled trade without being in debt, then we are doing the work that we're supposed to be doing. So for that, I am grateful for you all for acknowledging the little bit of work that I do. I appreciate my family who's here. My mom is here. My husband is here. My children are here. My nieces are here. And Pop Maxey, I don't know if you all know him, but he sits on my board. He is my champion. And Barb is here. I sit on her board for CCRT. So the work that we do is always collective and collaborative. And for that, I am grateful to you all for even the acknowledgement. So thank you very much.
now who's next? Me. Oh, you next, okay. All right.
So it is my honor to honor a woman who I've just met, but I know so much about the organization that she's the board chair, and so many of us don't realize that Gesher's Family Services, the partnerships we have with the county, and it's gone back to the leadership of Sean Carlson and Dom and many of our many of our executive committee members have brought all these relationships with Gesher Human Services, and we're so grateful for that and for Danny's leadership. So would you please join me, Danny? Danny Gilman has a strong commitment to community service. As the parent of a person with a disability, she's a fierce advocate for anyone unable to fight for themselves. Danny is the board chair of Gesher Human Services, which equips Metro Detroiters with the skills, support, and opportunities to achieve their highest potential. Danny supports intellectual freedom for all as an elected trustee on the Bloomfield Township Library Board. Danny is also on the Executive Council for the National Council of Jewish Women, where she is a champion for the women, children, and families in the area. She believes in showing up for each other and our community, and she does exactly that. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Marcia. Thank you, everybody who's here. I just wrote down a couple things just in case I got too nervous. I just want to say how grateful I am for this recognition. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be of service. I'm grateful for the chance to be an example to others and to show my 12-year-old son, Julian, that we can be a part of the process. I'm grateful to be able to advocate for people like my daughter, Brody, hey girl, and others who are unable to advocate for themselves. I'm especially grateful to be in a room celebrating and honoring women. I know that when women are given opportunities to learn and tools to grow, they don't gatekeep. Women pass it on. It trickles out into our families, into our neighborhoods, into our communities, and into our society. After all, in the words of the great and wise philosopher Beyonce, who run the world? Girls. Thank you.
Great. That was really great. Let's get it back.
Okay, great.
Good evening, everyone. I am next, right? Okay. I'm so excited that I have the pleasure and the honor of recognizing dear Marissa Youngblood from the beautiful city of Southfield. Please come up. Oh, yeah. So, Miss Marissa, thank you for being here. Let me just say a few words about Marissa Youngblood. Thank you. Unstoppable is the word that best represents this woman. A licensed social worker, a certified alcohol and drug counselor with more than 30 years of experience, she retired from Easter Seals morgue following her diagnosis of breast and liver cancer. Tireless in her efforts to uplift breast cancer thrivers, she volunteers and raises funds for the American Cancer Society and Making Strides Breast Cancer Walk of Detroit, and is active in survival networks, including Gilda's Club and Sisters Network of Greater Metropolitan Detroit. Did you want to?
I want to tell you that Marissa and I have been friends for many, many, many years. So it is a special honor for me to join in my fellow commissioners from Southfield to recognize Marissa. Marissa keeps us together as a friend group, always keeping us up to date. She opens her home up to other people and just you're a wonderful role model. But let me continue with our script. Marissa also supports cancer research studies of Black survivors in Carmona's Cancer Center and Wayne State University and programs that help cancer survivors regain strength and energy. A Southfield resident for 37 years, she's active in local events such as MLK Day, the Domestic Violence Walk, and back-to-school fairs.
As the founder of Life-Changing Counseling Services, Marissa offers compassionate mental health and addiction recovery care to clients of all ages and backgrounds and serves on the Southfield Substance Prevention and Education Coalition Board.
And I wanted to take a moment of privilege just to say, if you are here to celebrate with Miss Marissa today, please stand where you are. Thank you. So I wrote in my notes that she brought a quarter of the village, but she brought the village with her today. When I asked my godmother, my beautiful, wonderful godmother right there, to recommend someone for this honor, she said Marissa Youngblood. And I was going through our notes, and I'm like, oh, I saw this name somewhere else already, because she was nominated for something else earlier this year. And then all of the names on Facebook of our mutual friends. I mean, it's just been a wonder to meet you. I'm so inspired by you. So without further ado, Miss Youngblood.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It is with a grateful heart I thank my commissioner, both of my commissioners from Southfield, as well as my long-time friend, Penny. As well as the entire board of commissioners for recognizing me as an honoree during Women's History Month 2026. To my husband, children, and grandchildren, thank you for your love and constant encouragement. You inspire me each day. And to my extended family, and to my community, I was gonna have them to stand, but and to my church family, I thank you for your prayers, your support, and for walking alongside me in service. This honor belongs not only to me, but to everyone who has supported and believed in the work that we share together. May we continue to lift one another as we walk boldly in purpose, service, and faith. Isaiah 40:31 reads, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." Thank you.
Amen. We're going to take a photo right in front of the podium.
Then come right up here.
Marissa brought Penny and I books, so just saying.
And
So unfortunately, my awardee, Ellen Hoderick, is unable to be with us today, but I will present this to her at another time. So Ellen lives in Troy. Commissioner Erickson-Galt, do you want to stand up here with me? Because Commissioner Erickson-Galt and I both represent Troy. So Ellen is a communications specialist whose skills served her well on the Troy City Council for 12 years. First elected to the council in 2013, she was a dedicated public servant until she was term limited in 2025. During that time, she was a mentor to other council members, restored civic cohesion, and was heavily involved in work with the library, public safety, and civic committees. If you've met Ellen, you know that her greeting has always been a wide smile and a sincere, genuine interest in your well-being. She is a role model for effective leadership, and her principle of positive interactions with others has set a high standard for future council members in Troy and everywhere. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, knowing her for many years.
Yes, I had the distinct pleasure and privilege of serving with Ellen on Troy City Council. Ellen actually inspired me to run for council and encouraged me and mentored me. Just an amazing woman, and was continuing to give back to her community.
So thank you. We'll make sure Ellen receives this plaque. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It is an honor. I would like to call up Miss Mary Crate of Waterford Township. Hi, Miss Mary. Okay. Mary has been a dedicated member of the Waterford Township community for more than 50 years and has spent the past 40 years shaping the lives of Waterford School District students. She began her teaching career on February 18th, 1986. And since that day, Mary's brought passion, joy, and an unwavering commitment to our students and her colleagues. Where did we leave off here?
In addition to her work in the classroom, Mary has served as president of the Waterford Education Association for the past 8 years, representing more than 530 teachers and advocating for the educators who serve our community every day. Her leadership reflects a deep belief in the power of public education and in the importance of supporting those who guide the next generation. So, and I truly believe that. My parents were both educators, and yes, the power of public education. So thank you.
When you're a classroom teacher and you've taught everything from kindergarten through 9th grade, who needs a microphone? I don't, because you use that voice out on the playground. Currently, I'm a Title I reading interventionist supporting our most at-risk students. And here's what I say when I go to the bargaining table for 534 teachers. My working conditions are your kids' learning conditions. Our kids, every day I tell them, you are capable of doing anything you put your mind to. Set a goal. So I, as a woman, get to help our young girls become the best version of themselves. I graduated from Waterford Schools in 1980 with Mary Barra. Here's the difference. Mary Barra makes a hell of a lot of money. I go to work every day and I make a difference. And nobody can take that away from me. Nobody can ever take that away from me. And 40, the superintendent just asked me, are you considering retiring? I got too much good trouble to cause. I got at least another 10 years in me. And here's what I will tell you about Waterford. I am a proud Waterford teacher who was part of making sure that every Waterford elementary teacher was trained under the science of reading. I worked to deal with the district where every elementary teacher in Waterford is now letters trained, and I'm part of that, and I feel very proud of the work we do. So thank you.
Miss Andrea Washington, where are you at? Here she is. Come on up. Yeah. Okay, okay. So, I am so, no worries. I'm so thrilled to be presenting this to Andrea Washington. In 2023, she was a trailblazer as becoming the first Black woman, in fact, the first person of color to be elected to Hazel Park City Council. Yes. That alone would qualify her for that. But before that, she served as appointed to Hazel Park Planning Commission in 2021. She was also appointed as a member of the Environmental Sustainability Commission in 2022, and she continues in this role today. Always looking to further her education, she studied anthropology at Michigan State University and is pursuing a bachelor's degree in organizational leadership and a master's in business administration. Strong education theme going here tonight. And as a passionate champion for the importance of native plants and pollinators in the ecosystem, she is a volunteer beekeeper with bees in the D, which has reintroduced more than 12 million honeybees into urban ecosystems in Southeast Michigan. Yes. She is amazing. I have had the privilege the last 2 years of watching her be a true servant leader on Hazel Park City Council, so I'm very thrilled to present this to you.
Thanks. I'm one for Waterworks. My city will tell you that I am definitely one to cry on the dais. Thank you so much, Anne, for this nomination. I am truly honored to be here with these other amazing women. I was like it was a little intimidating, honestly, but I want to thank my community too of Hazel Park for selecting me and trusting me to serve for them. I felt a calling, and I wanted to be the change that I wanted to see in the world. So, I'm sorry. And it is my honor to serve my city that I call home now. I hope to continue to do my family proud and to represent the strong women that came before me. My mom, my sister are here to support. And in solidarity with some of the people here in the crowd and the audience, I come from my grandmothers were both immigrants, and my grandmother came from Japan. My other grandmother came from, Germany, and in that, ice out. Thank you.
All gather and just take a picture together. Each of us, just come up. Just jump in there, awardees.
Podium.
Y'all in the front. All in the front. Yep. And I'm super short.
Short people, you gotta get in front.
Can I switch you this one?
Thank you.
Congratulations. Good to see you.
Okay, I'm gonna say it one more time. Who run the world? Girls! Woo! And now I turn it over to our wonderful chair.
How many do you want?
I think if it's okay, Mr. Clerk, are there any communications? I know. Can we do the communications, come back to presentations? There are what? There are no communications. Okay, good. All right. I'm just going to take a second to wait for people to exit the room who are leaving. Okay, our next presentation is a proclamation honoring National Social Worker Month, and I will recognize Commissioner Lubes, and I believe Commissioner Nelson and Cavell as well. Commissioner Lubes.
Thank you, thank you. It is our honor to proclaim March as National Social Work Month, and in that fashion, Commissioner Nelson and Commissioner Cavell and I are all social workers. So
Board certified behavior analyst, separate, but nonetheless, we help the state.
As a social worker. 1/6 of your board are licensed and credentialed to help and care for people. How is that? Yeah. And I would like to invite Dana Lazenby up from Oakland Community Health Network to accept the proclamation. So while she's on her way up, I'll start reading and we'll take turns.
Sounds great.
Whereas, as a county committed to improving the health outcomes of its residents, it is important to honor and recognize the people and providers who perform this important work, especially during March, which is National Social Work Month.
All right, whereas those who have entered the social work profession do so because they genuinely care about helping improve the welfare of people, families, communities, and our nation. They work in all parts of our society, including schools, social service agencies, veteran centers and government, helping individuals and families and our overall communities secure the services and the policies they need to thrive. Social workers exist and assist those navigating trauma, grief, and systematic biases, and help people recover from natural disasters, public health crises, and other issues while transforming their lives in encouraging ways. And
Can I ask, how many of you are social workers? Nice. How many of you in the helping fields? Teachers, nurses? Oh, look at you. Okay, this is for you because we're honoring all of us. So included in that are more than 810,000 social workers and then more in the helping fields like you all in the United States. And they shape more just and compassionate societies through leadership, education, advocacy, and direct practice, which that's what y'all are doing tonight, right? Yeah, okay. And the Bureau of Labor Statistics has the field of social work listed as one of the fastest growing professions in the country because we need help. So thank you to all of you. Here is this one. There's more.
Whereas the 2026 National Association of Social Workers theme, Social Workers, Uplift, Defend, Transform, honors the prime mission of the profession to enhance human well-being, meet the basic human needs of all people, and put special attention on empowering those who are oppressed, vulnerable, or living in poverty.
Whereas locally, we celebrate the work and dedication of social workers that are part of the Oakland Community Health Network, a matrix of providers offering public behavioral services to approximately 30,000 Oakland County residents with intellectual or developmental disabilities, mental health challenges, and substance use disorders. And whereas on this special occasion, we join with OCHN and all of Oakland County to recognize the numerous contributions made by America's social workers. Now therefore be resolved, David T. Woodward, Chair of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, Commissioners Charlie Cavell, Penny Lubes, and myself, and the entire Oakland County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim March 2026 as National Social Work Month in Oakland County.
I have to pull out my notes, but I want to say thank you. And honestly, at OCHN, we are employing hundreds of social workers throughout our network of providers. And we focus on behavioral health services, and we change lives. But that's the other countless number of social workers who work throughout Oakland County, throughout this state, are really focused on, and we do need more, a lot more, social workers to help people. We work in hospitals and schools and community mental health and substance use, and you just name it. There's a full range of work that social workers do every single day that goes unseen many times, but much appreciated. So I just want to thank you all for recognizing social workers, and we could not do what we do without our social workers. And I see one standing in the back of the room that works at OCHN. So, and they're such a committed group of people who really take on other people's problems and really are focused on helping other people. So thank you for the social worker. Thank you for the recognition. We truly appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioners. Next up, in our final presentation for this evening, I'm going to call up the Director of our Oakland County Parks and Recreation Department to share Mission 26. One, to tell us what that is, but also give us an update of all the wonderful things that Oakland County is doing under your leadership and the entire Parks and Rec team in support of expanding parks and recreation opportunities.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. Good evening. It's a little humbling coming up here after so many amazing people, so I'm trying not to be too disappointing. And I will try to keep this rather brief because I know you've already had a long agenda, a long evening tonight. Mission 26 is what we've been discussing at Oakland County Parks. We have this tremendous opportunity, thanks to all of you, the voters of Oakland County, who gave us a great vote of confidence in the 2024 election in support of a funding proposal. And what it's allowing us to do is to make some historic level investments in recreation in this county. Mission 26 is inspired by, actually before I get started, I want to say all of this is possible thanks to support from elected officials, frankly, who make the recreation a priority. And I want to note, last week, the Michigan Parks and Recreation Association honored our chairman, Dave Woodward, for Local Elected Official of the Year. I could say from personal experience, much of what I am discussing tonight wouldn't have been possible without your leadership, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it. So Mission 66 is our inspiration. If you're a lover of the National Park System, Mission 66 has made a tremendous difference in your lives. In the post-World War II period, our national parks were just overrun with people and very poorly equipped to deal with the crowds that were coming. Traffic jams, overwhelmed facilities, and they were really in a crisis situation. So a decision was made in the 50s to put $1 billion into our national park system to update infrastructure, build visitor centers, all of that great mid-century modern architecture we know in our national parks all goes back to this Mission 66 effort. And what it did is it laid the foundation to allow growth in visitation that has consistently happened since the mid-60s through now, where they had record attendance and visitation every year. So we're drawing some inspiration from that because we're also at a crucial point. We are on our 60th birthday this year. Thank you to the commission for honoring us at the last meeting. I'm sorry I couldn't have been here. And to go back to 1966 and throughout, all of this has been possible because of the voters of Oakland County who made a choice to invest in public recreation, in saving and preserving lands before they were lost to development, and to make them more and more available for everyone to enjoy. Looking back at the newspapers of the day, that millage only passed by 1% of the vote. And so you think of what has been built over the years since then that so many of us have enjoyed. It certainly speaks to every vote counts. And as I mentioned before, 2024 has opened this new opportunity for us, and so thus this plan. So one of the things that we would like to talk about after the pandemic is that parks are essential to everybody's health and well-being. I know in my personal experience, and I think probably many of yours, parks are probably the reason why we didn't all strangle each other over toilet paper during the pandemic. But if you're going to call yourself essential, you can't leave people out. And so one of our challenges of park system, we have tremendous parks in North and Western Oakland County. And that reflects those early investments that were made back in the 60s to create Independence Oaks, Addison Oaks, and other great parks. But we don't have a strong presence or haven't had a strong presence in central and southern Oakland County. And you could see the legacy system numbers there. Basically, what you have a picture there is Western and Northern Oakland County making up about 60% of the people who visit our parks, and Central and Southern Oakland County making up the balance. So if you look at where the population of the county is, it's exactly opposite of that. So we have, over the last few years, entered into a series of partnerships, acquired a few prime pieces of property that and worked through the grant process to add some wonderful new parks to our park system. If you live in Pontiac, if you live in Troy, Rochester, Rochester Hills, Bloomfield Township, hopefully soon, Farmington Hills, Oak Park, you know, you're going to have your first county-funded park in that 60-year history. So as that all comes together and we're able to develop these parks, open them up for use, you're going to see this is the projected shift in the system and really creates a truly balanced countywide system. You know, there's something basic in the fact that countywide taxpayers pay for my salary and all of the things we do. We have to provide countywide benefit. So I'm very proud that we're on our way to have a truly countywide park system in the future. We're also working quite a bit about crossing beyond all those layers of government. One of the things with recreation, especially in Oakland County, we have just tremendous public lands and resources, but it's really hard to navigate for the public because there are school districts run them, regional park systems, us, local parks and recreation, nonprofits. There's a lot of players, and it's very hard to navigate the system to know what's available to you. And what we see ourselves not only operating parks, but trying to convene and bring people together in partnership to offer more accessibility and opportunity for people. So I mentioned we've had a number of these partnerships come together. About 600 acres have been added to our park system through partnerships alone. And what those partnerships were with local governments, we didn't spend any money on acquisition. All of the money goes into improving those parks and making them better for people to enjoy. So that is, that's been a great step forward. By the time we're done, we'll have more than 20 locations. We had 14 just a few years ago. 220,000 residents will be within 3 miles of a county park that weren't just a few years ago, and we'll be going from 40 to 73% of the county living within 3 miles of a county park. A reduction in distance on average of 3.7 miles to 2.3 miles. And that's all about bringing parks closer to where people live. And also, as we look to the future, there's some warning signs on the horizon when we look at not wanting to leave people out. First of all, this county is aging quite quickly. By 2041, 1 in 3 county residents will be over 65 years old. But people in that age range represent some of the lowest participation and use of parks in the county. And that's also a national-wide issue. So we really have to drill down and find out what's driving that and be more welcoming and available and accessible for our older adults. There's also an enormous gap in park usage based on income. We did some polling earlier in the year, and we found a 33% drop from the highest income to the lowest income in terms of who's coming to and enjoying parks, not just our parks, but local parks as well. And you start to look at what the health implications are of having great parks, and there's just a tremendous amount of science that backs up that parks are preventative health care and great for our mental health. So when people are being left out, those disparities compound in terms of poor health outcomes for communities. The other thing is, especially with winter weather being so unpredictable, use of parks in the winter drops by about 40% compared to the summer. So we have to find ways to get people out into the parks in the winter, make them more accessible and usable as well. I do want to let you know that we aren't just looking at expansion. This is also about modernizing, dealing with deferred maintenance, some of the non-sexy projects, but that need to get done for safety, reliability, cost avoidance. We had $20 million identified in projects earlier in this decade, and we are about 75% through with that, and the rest of it is scheduled and will be underway. Thanks to a historic investment made by this board with your American Rescue Plan Act funds into especially urban park revitalization. We have more than $20 million in park improvements underway, and this summer will be a season of ribbon cuttings that will be amazing. Waterford Oaks is getting a new playground, Ninja Warrior course, pickleball courts, pavilion improvements. Catalpa Oaks is getting a full glow up as well. Red Oaks is our late chairman of the Parks Commission and friend of many of you, Gary McGilvery. We are building the Gary McGilvery Play Garden at Red Oaks. It's an intergenerational play space that is going to be one of the first of its kind in the area. Pontiac Oaks, what a success story that is. If you know what was called Hawthorne Park in the past, had developed sort of a negative reputation, had a bathroom that was boarded up for about 20 years. I have a sign in my office that is riddled with bullet holes, do not enter sign, that was a couple hundred feet from a playground. Through a partnership with the city of Pontiac, we've been working in that park and beginning to improve it since about a year and a half ago. This summer, we'll be reopening and rechristening Pontiac Oaks, and it's going to be a fantastic park. It's a beautiful park, and I hope you have a chance to stop over and see it. So where do we go from here? As we look to the future, what's a great park system for where Oakland County is now and where we're going in the future? This is our answer to that question. First and foremost, parks are, especially now past the pandemic, we know are this engine of preventative health And there's a lot of science behind it. It isn't just the fact that it's a park, though. It has to be designed around the outcomes you're trying to achieve. So, we are looking at all of the examples out there for how to build the best, most ideal park to create positive health outcomes for the people who come and visit our parks. We also have this concept of discovery gateways, and these are really cool spaces that are sort of the hook to bring people in and spark wonder and curiosity. And there's also tremendous opportunities in terms of the corridors between parks and throughout our county, especially our rivers, our multi-community trail systems. There is a lot of work that can be done there, and because it crosses municipal boundaries, it's a great role for us at a county level to get involved and play a role. And really, there is just an enormous amount of work that needs to be done to protect, preserve, and manage our natural resources across the board. And to do it at the scale that needs to be done, we need a healthy, volunteer, citizen-driven organization to make that work happen. And so that's part of the plan as well. I'm going to go through this rather quickly, but creating parks that are sort of engines for preventative health. Unfortunately, it isn't as good as saying, I went to the park for 2 minutes and I'm good now. The science shows you've got to have at least 120 minutes weekly in the park. And so it isn't going to be a success for us to have people come and visit us every now and then. We need to have them coming back on a regular basis. The flagship Discovery Gateways, we, as part of those partnerships, are taking on great spaces like we'll soon be coming here at Bowers School Farm, the Spicer House at Heritage Park. They're just really, wonderful spaces to create learning experiences. We'll be building a new farmers market for the county market. There's going to be an opportunity to create more opportunities for people to learn about nutrition and cooking. Over at Pontiac Oaks, we acquired a bunch of property at Walton. There's a bait shop that we're looking at turning into a freshwater laboratory, nature learning area for young people. Rose Oaks for night sky discovery. That just as a few examples of what these discovery gateways can be. And I've been through the regional corridors. I'm sorry, I'm going to go through this and let you get on to your agenda here. A big part of this is just sort of removing the friction that is keeping people away from parks. So, we've been looking at what is it that Minnesota and other counties or other states that in our same climate range do to get people out to parks. And often it's not the big exciting attractions. It's things like having plowed pathways and trails, lighting for when it gets dark at 5 o'clock, warming stations, blocking out the wind, and making it, a more welcoming environment for people. The other thing we've done, we are looking at building something called Pure Oakland. When I talk about all of those layers of agencies that are involved in it and how difficult it is for the public to navigate the system, that's the idea, is to put it all in one spot so you can, search for whatever you're looking for, regardless of who is managing it. And we also launched something called the Co-Creation Lab, and this is where your voice is heard. So if you want to check into this a little bit more and see what we're up to and share your ideas, tell us if we've got some good ones and some terrible ones. That's what this is all about. It's at engage.oaklandcountyparks.com, and it's an all-around feedback engine of people providing their ideas, us sharing ideas, and hopefully we create a great park system that represents what people would like to see in the future here. So that's the goal. To move beyond just siloed government agencies to a seamless, resilient, inclusive landscape of great parks, trails, natural areas, freshwater, all of those wonderful things that make Oakland County special, make it more accessible for all of you. Not just operate a great park system, but be a connector in that broader ecosystem of recreation providers, and try to get those boundaries to disappear so that we can make recreation more accessible for everybody and protect those natural features and landscape for future generations. So with that, I thank you for your time and look forward to some great things. I don't know if you want me to answer questions.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, we can take a couple questions. We got a lot of business we got to get to, but is there any questions that commissioners have?
I don't know how big my budget is, Charlie, sorry.
There you go.
Yeah.
I just want to add something. I had the opportunity to join Chris Ward and the park staff at the Michigan Parks Conference in Lansing last week. The reputation that our entire team has across that organization, across the entire state, is nothing short of unbelievable. Being the largest county park system in the entire state, what you've been able to do in such a short period of time, and the excitement of what's on the horizon. I mean, this is Mission 26 is legacy making, and I thank you for you, and please bring it back to the entire team and how proud we are of the entire parks team in Oakland County. And so that will conclude our presentations and proclamations this evening. There are no communications, so we'll skip over that. And as we discussed for those who were in the majority caucus room, we're going to go into recess, go back to that so that we can conduct our business to be ready for this meeting. So we're going to go back into recess, what I hope to be a very brief, a brief period of time. So stand at ease of the chair. All right, if commissioners could take their seat, we're going to get started in a minute here.
So did you get us all here?
Ask the clerk to take roll to establish quorum so we can resume the meeting.
Commissioner Cavell. Commissioner Erickson Gall. Commissioner Gershenson. Commissioner Ginjo is absent with notice. Commissioner Hoffman.
Present.
Commissioner Johnson is absent with notice. Commissioner Joliet.
Here.
Commissioner Long.
Here.
Commissioner Loops. Commissioner Markham is here. Commissioner Miller is absent with notice. Commissioner Nelson.
Here.
Commissioner Powell.
Here.
Commissioner Smiley.
Here.
Commissioner Smith Charles. Commissioner Spiz.
Present.
Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
Commissioner Weipert.
Here.
Commissioner Woodward.
Here.
And Mr. Chair, there is a quorum.
Thank you very much. All right, we will resume the agenda where we left off, and this will bring us to our first public comment. This is the opportunity to address any item on the agenda. There's a second public comment on things that are not on the agenda. So is there anyone who wants to speak to items on the consent or regular agenda? On the consent, on the agenda? I know there's a lot of... Okay. Laura, yep. Laura, welcome.
Hi, my name is Laura Vogel, and I am a resident of White Lake Township. I am a founder of the Lawyers for Good Government, and I'm happy to see agenda item 11A for a grant for the defense of indigents, and that's all. I'm happy to see that indigents will get representation.
Thank you very much. Robin McGregor.
Robin McGregor from Waterford. First, I'd like to thank you for the 5 women, or 6 women from the county. I do believe we have many, many more. There's a lot in this room. And Parks piece, I am a proud employee of the Parks. And I am very grateful to Chris and Alan and Esther and my 3 commissioners and the work that they do. Tonight, when you guys went to closed session, one of the questions that I have is that caucus, as I've been told in the past, is never recorded because it isn't part of the Open Meetings Act. So if it's not part of the Open Meetings Act in that regard, how do we go into closed session?
The majority caucus is required to follow the Open Meetings Act.
Okay, so why isn't it recorded during caucus all the time? I know it's not question and answer. I'm sorry, Mr.
We're not
Weber.
going to go back. I mean, yeah.
Okay, but that was my one, I didn't understand that piece of it, because if it isn't part of it, then you can't go to closed session because it's not. So help us understand more about what all of this is, so that the general public and under the Open Meetings Act, under the qualifications, we don't know that. I know that you are the only person that has information from general counsel on different pieces to keep the piece per privilege controlled, and it makes sense. But we're here, I think we're all on the same side on this. We just want to take care of our people and our communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ann Lehman. Ann. Again, this is opportunity to speak on items on the agenda.
Yep. Good evening. My name is Ann Lehman. I'm from Davisburg. Today in this month of March, Women's History Month, I want to take a moment to recognize something powerful that often goes underappreciated: the extraordinary leadership of women in the ongoing fight for justice. For generations, women have been at the forefront of movements that demand fairness, dignity, and opportunity for everyone. When systems have failed, when voices have been ignored, when communities have struggled, it's so often been women who have stepped forward. Not because it's easy, but because it was necessary. Women organize, women advocate, women build bridges when others see division. They bring people together around kitchen tables, community centers, schools, and places of worship. They listen deeply, they care fiercely, they act with determination. Justice does not move forward on its own. It takes people who are willing to stand up, speak out, and do the hard work every single day. Across our neighborhoods and cities, women are doing exactly that. I'm in awe of the many incredibly fierce women I see every day defending the vulnerable against ICE. As a proud member of CAFE, Community Aid for Empowerment, I'm amongst a group of women who are amazing organizers, leaders, advocates, and protectors of our community. They carry not just their own voices, but the voices of people who are too often ignored and marginalized. And they do it with courage, grit, and an unbelievable amount of heart. These women are strategic, relentless, and compassionate, and yes, truly badass. I am proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with women who are fearless in the pursuit of justice, women who believe deeply that our communities deserve safety, dignity, and opportunity. Like most women, the women of CAFE tirelessly protect and support families who have been affected by ICE's cruelty. We are nurturers, fighters, and constants in the midst of chaos. We demand justice, and we implore our government to meet its most basic responsibilities to protect and serve. This is the time to not just acknowledge the achievements of women, but to listen to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Megan Callahan, followed by Michelle Sella. Is Megan Callahan still here? Yeah. Megan, followed by Michelle.
Good evening. I wanted to say that I appreciate hearing everyone's story and all the inspiration that's come before me tonight. And thank you for this opportunity to speak in public. I wanted to thank OCHN and Dana for all the work you're doing to advocate for the kids and the adults in our community. I'm a parent of 2 children who receive community mental health services under OCHN. And she's absolutely correct. The customer service is unbelievable. and the work ethic is unbelievable. There's still some gaps that we need to fill. There are day programs and short-term hospitalization programs for children who qualify under CMH. But one of the problems that we've been running into with our kids is that all of the short-term hospitals for kids, they're privately owned. So I want to say also that to keep CMH from not being privatized is very important, because what we're running into is when kids go to the emergency room and they're screened by not by a psychiatrist but by a social worker, they are determined, the social workers send in packets of information to these hospitals that are privatized, and the short-term hospitals can choose what kids they want to take. They're not required to take kids, even if they meet the eligibility criteria, even if their behaviors are too hard to manage. A lot of times these private hospitals don't have enough staff to handle kids like my son, who has fight or flight symptoms with his mental health, and he becomes aggressive just for short periods of time. But there aren't places for kids like that who have the more aggressive symptoms, but can still function in other ways. And the same thing with day programs. Kids can go to day programs instead of school for a few weeks to get their medicines monitored and to have behavioral therapy. But again, if they have behaviors that are symptoms of their mental illness that are too violent or aggressive, these programs are turning them down because they don't have staff trained to handle, or enough staff to handle, the needs of these kids. So our safety plan a lot of times is calling the police. So again, a shout out to our police in Oakland County, because they're also doing mental health work on their own time, because we don't have enough trained staff in a high enough training level to protect some of our little guys. So I appreciate everything the commission has done to support OCHN, and I appreciate OCHN. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Michelle Sedlak? Michelle? Followed by Marguerite Gupta.
I was doing number 2.
Okay, number 2. Yeah, I'll put you at the top of the list there. Marguerite? Welcome
Hi,
back.
this is Margaret Gupta. This is in regards to the Finance Committee Indigent Defense. And I do appreciate Laura Vogel's comments on it. My concern is that there's an MIDC grant application process. In 2024 to 2025, they received $20,477,000. The Oakland County had match about $1.8 million for a total of $22.36 million. 80% of their attorneys are on roster attorneys, which is they get the overflow, but it seemed like it was pretty high to have a roster for 80% of your cases. The general fund, the judicial services, prosecuting attorney, and sheriffs have 55% of the general fund, which is $347 million. It appears that there's always the appearance of, hey, we're going to be submitting for this application through MIDC. Everybody says, yeah, go ahead, no questions. There's no local oversight. What is really going on with these indigent defense? Indigent means that you cannot afford an attorney. That's significant, because we're talking about people what could be minor crimes, major crimes. They don't realize the process. Again, the Zoom platform. Anybody that's an indigent, that's getting defense, trying to stay out of jail, trying to stay out of prison, trying to stay out of trouble, Zoom offers them no hope. The county can do whatever they want with the transcripts. They can remove statements. They can alter the records and deliver a decision based on what the county thinks, not what the Zoom record shows, because there's no preservation of court records with the Zoom hearing platform. What are these indigent people going to do? They're going to believe their attorney. The attorney's going to go with the process. Hey, we just got $19.3 million. That's what they're asking for this year. There's no investigators. The indigent defense needs to make sure that court records are preserved, not altered. It's like let's cross the layers of government management. Because altering court records, that's considered a crime. This isn't just nodding our heads and saying, yes, hey, go ahead, apply for the application. It's about accountability and make sure the practices and procedures are ethical and honest to protect the public, especially those who are indigent. Otherwise, you're just supporting the corruption of altered court records.
Thank you, Margaret. Anita Fitz? Is Anita? Oh, Anita? Number two. All right. Got you second. Mike Flores. Items on the agenda.
Yes. Buenas noches. Mi nombre es Mike Flores de Troy, and I am Oakland County. I want to begin by recognizing the importance of the items on tonight's agenda, honoring Women's History Month and Social Workers Month. Both recognitions highlight people who dedicate their lives to supporting families, strengthening communities, and ensuring that those who are vulnerable are not left behind. And I want to say it clearly. The civic movement many of you have seen over the past several weeks here in this chamber is deeply connected to both of those recognitions. This effort is led by women. Women are organizing community meetings. Women are coordinating across faith congregations. Women speaking at this podium week after week. Women advocating not just for themselves, but for their neighbors and for families who are feeling vulnerable right now. That leadership deserves recognition. Gracias, gracias, gracias for your leadership and for loving your Oakland County neighbors. And social workers understand this dynamic better than most. Social workers see firsthand how fear and uncertainty affect families. They see how stress shows up in children. They see how instability impacts housing, food security, mental health, and access to services. They are often the ones trying to hold communities together when the system creates uncertainty and our leaders fail to lead. That's why the ongoing conversation many residents have been bringing before you to this board matters so much. It is about ensuring that families in Oakland County feel safe accessing county services, safe interacting with local institutions, and safe trusting the systems that are supposed to serve all of us. But when people are afraid to seek help, everyone in this room loses. The women who have been organizing around this issue and the social workers who support these families are asking for policies that reinforce trust, stability, and the dignity of our communities. They are asking for local leadership that understands how policy decisions ripple outwards into people's daily lives. If we truly want to honor the women who lead and the social workers who serve, then we should listen closely to the communities they are working to protect and to support. Recognition is important. But the most meaningful way to honor the values we celebrate tonight is to ensure that those policies reflect those values. Gracias. Gracias to all of you.
Thank you very much. Alexis Cromie. Alexis Cromie. Two. Okay. And I see Supervisor Barnett signed up. It's not on issues on the agenda, right? Okay. I'll have you number 4 on that list. Any other items on the, any public comment for the agenda? On items on the agenda, the consent or the regular agenda? Seeing none, we will close the first public comment, and then we will move on to reports of standing committees, and that will bring us to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda? Moved by Commissioner Long, seconded by Commissioner Taylor. Is there any discussion on any of the items on the consent agenda, which is the bulk of tonight's meeting? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, will you please prompt the vote? On the consent agenda. Commissioner Powell votes yes.
Mr. Chair, there are 16 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the consent agenda is adopted. I will move us to the regular agenda, and I believe there's only one item from the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee, and I will call on the Vice Chair of the committee, Commissioner Ann Erickson-Galt.
Thank you, Chair. On behalf of the Legislative Affairs and Governmental Operations Committee, we have an appointment to the Oakland Community Health Network Board. We recommend the appointment of Cyril Davis, primary consumer, to fill the vacancy for the remainder of the term ending March 31st, 2028. Chair, I move for the adoption of this appointment.
Moved by Commissioner Erickson-Galt, seconded by Commissioner Taylor. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, will you please prompt the vote on confirming the appointment to the OCHN Board?
Mr. Chair, there are 16 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. Sorry, like it's uploading and sorry, yes. Commissioner Erickson-Galt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes the business of the Legislative Affairs and Governmental Operations Committee.
Okay, thank you very much. That will move us to, that concludes our regular agenda. It brings us to new and miscellaneous business. That's what I was looking at, is like it's in. So I think there's a number of resolutions to be introduced, and there's one item, because of time constraints, to continue the response, crisis response unit that we'll seek to take up immediately. So if you refresh.
Oh, I didn't see him on there.
And we'll start with A, Commissioner Nelson.
Oh, A, I got F.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just a point of clarification. I don't know if my agenda is not updated, although I just did it. I'm not listed as A.
Well, I think
bottom
it's not in alphabetical order. So it starts with F and goes down, and it's the second to the last is A.
Okay, great.
So that's why I called on A. Yes.
Excellent. I'd like to introduce a resolution requiring quarterly public disclosure of reimbursement expenses for county elected officials and senior administrative leadership. And Mr. Chair, this resolution...
We'll refer that to Lago without objection.
Thank you, but this resolution establishes a quarterly
Commissioner,
public
this is the point to
process.
introduce the resolutions. We're not debating the resolutions.
I know, I just like for the public to know what
item B.
I am introducing.
We're moving to item B.
And I'd like to request that it be sent to
Commissioner
Finance.
Powell on
Thank
item
you.
B. It's B. It's the supplemental funding request for a comprehensive. So Commissioner Powell moves to suspend the rules to take up for immediate consideration the supplemental funding request for the comprehensive opioid stimulant and substance abuse site-based program, the Crisis Response Unit with the Sheriff's Department. Moved by Powell, seconded by Spiz. All in favor of suspending rules to take the item up immediately, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that we're taking up the item immediately. Moved by Commissioner Powell, seconded by Commissioner Spiz. This is a continuation of funding so that the crisis response unit that is responding to substance abuse, mental health issues, particularly opioids, and doing a tremendous job to continue another 6 months of funding while we work together to secure ongoing funding. This is a program that was funded by a federal grant that's not currently been renewed. Any further discussion? Commissioner Cavell.
Because we do budgeting in August and September and pass the budget starting October 1, do we know why this funding change or this need for additional funding was not included? Were we aware the federal grant was going to end?
We've got representative of the Sheriff's Office here, but in the budget, the federal grant ended. We appropriated 6 months with the hope that a federal grant application that was in would get funded. It hasn't gotten funded, but a lot of things in the federal government haven't gotten funded. Current funding expires March 31st, and so this continues it through the current fiscal year. Commissioner Long.
Thank you. So I'm looking at the summary. So it's $250,000 for this year to continue it.
For the next 6 months.
6 months, okay. And that continues it to the other next fiscal year.
To the end of the current fiscal year,
Okay,
correct.
thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, will you please prompt the vote on item B?
Mr. Chair, there are 16 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted, and that will bring us, I'm going to go in the order of the alphabet. You're just going to have to find your resolution. So item C, Commissioner Powell.
Sponsorship of the TEDx Pontiac Community Innovation and Economic Revitalization Initiative, and I'm asking that it be referred to Finance.
Referred without objection. Item D, Commissioner Erickson Gold.
Thank you, Chair. This is for sponsorship of, sorry, got the wrong one. Sponsorship of the Madison Heights Juneteenth celebration. I'd like that to be referred to Finance.
Referred without objection. Item E, Commissioner Hoffman.
Thank you, Chairman Woodward. Commissioner Weipert and I would like to introduce the sponsorship of the Highland Downtown Development Authority 2026 community events, and we'd like it referred to Finance, please.
Referred without objection.
Thank you.
Moving to item F, Commissioner Long.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sponsorship of Commerce Township Heart of the Lakes Festival. I'd like that referred to Finance.
Referred without objection. And then item G.
G is sponsorship of Commerce Township Concert in the Park Summer Series. Referred to Finance.
Referred to Finance without objection. I think we got everything, and don't know why that's not all in alphabetical order, but we got through that. Keep you on your toes. Okay, they'll move us to announcements. Is there any announcements? We've got a number of people who want to speak, so I don't see any announcements, so we'll move to the second public comment. This is the opportunity for the members of the public to speak on any topic, and there were a few people signed up, so I'm going to start up there, and then I will work our way through all the others. So I will start with Michelle Sedlak. And if you could just come up to the microphone, address your comments to me, the chair, and keep your comments to 3 minutes. And welcome.
Thank you. I'm Michelle Sedlak, a resident of Royal Oak. So why am I here today? Well, while I support ICE's overall mission, there have been way too many mistakes, including the illegal detainment of people who are citizens and other people who are here legally. Additionally, this is a waste of taxpayer money. So, which brings me to my point. It's been 3 weeks since the last Oakland County Commissioners meeting, and the Community Safety and Civil Rights Ad Hoc Committee has not met, from what I hear, to review the community's 5 asks. The community asks to prohibit DHS, CBP, and ICE activity on all Oakland County property without a valid judicial warrant. Ensure Oakland County will not enter into any 287G agreements. Number 3, allocate $50,000 for trusted legal aid for residents in immigration proceedings. 4, allocate $100,000 to address food insecurity for impacted children. And finally, please do not renew the Oakland County Clemis DHS contract and commit to no future Clemis Authority DHS ICE contracts. Respectfully, I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Before I call up the next person, and I meant to say this at the top of this, and I mentioned for those who were in the majority caucus room, some comments I was going to make, and I think it's important for everyone in this room here because I believe all of us, I know I have, but I believe all of us have received email and phone calls and communications on a number of things. And so I just want to reiterate what this board and what this county has already adopted. At our last board meeting, and we did it, and we actually deliberated and crafted policy to restrict access to non-public areas in Oakland County without a judicial warrant, and believe that we stand on very strong legal grounds to be able to require that. And we are in the process right now of working with our working with all departments to make sure that the employees that will be the first defense line that encounters, I mean, should ICE attempt to get access to those areas, that they're trained on what the appropriate protocol is. And we're in the process of doing that, and that has been a process that's been worked on the last couple weeks. As it relates to 287G agreements, I said this at the last meeting. The sheriff, the sheriff office does not have a 287G agreement with ICE. There is no intention, to my understanding, I've been assured by the sheriff's office, to enter into a 287G agreement with ICE. There is no appetite from this board to enter into a 287G agreement with ICE, and I don't believe there's one that actually exists with any of our local law enforcement across the county as well. As it relates to
Then
Clemens,
put it in writing,
excuse
Chair.
me, excuse me.
Just put it in writing.
Commissioner. As it relates to Clemens, Oakland County has already begun the process of communicating with ICE that the purchase agreement that existed, that expires at the end of this month, is not going to be renewed. And that has been done. It has been reported. The executive has communicated that, and it was widely reported, and many members of this board applauded that action. The authority, the new Clemens Authority, as it's standing up and it's in startup phase, is working through its process for all agreements. And I've made my personal, and I serve on the executive committee of the Clemens Authority, and I made my comments very publicly known that I have no interest in supporting any future agreement with Clemens and ICE, especially under this administration. So those things are in motion, in place, and have actually occurred. And so when the communication, when people are communicating to others to say we need to cancel the contract or not renew the contract with Clemens, it has not been renewed. It is expiring the 31st. And that, frankly, is a faster process than the notice time that was in that purchase agreement, which, for the record, never came before this board. So those are the things I want people to understand. Those things have happened, and the Safer Communities and Civil Rights Ad Hoc Committee is in the process of scheduling a meeting to not only further discuss these matters and others next Tuesday at noon and in the Majority Caucus room. The chair of that ad hoc committee, Commissioner Powell, announced the meeting's being scheduled for next week. So I meant to say that at the top of this because I know a lot of people came to speak on these subjects, and I just wanted to make sure that everyone understood the things that have happened are happening, and when statements are you're not listening, everyone is listening, and actions have been taken swiftly to address these things. And I would argue that all of these things in aggregate is comprehensive and is a demonstration of Oakland County living into our values. So with that, I broke protocol there, but I think it's important for the context for the conversation or for the future public comments. I just wanted everyone to know those things have happened already. So next up, Anita Fitz.
This is going to be changed after what you just said. Now, some of the things that we would like to see happen really haven't been discussed that much yet. And you did talk about, the ICE is not permitted in what, public places?
Restricted access to non-public places in Oakland County without a judicial warrant.
That is good. We would like to extend that to churches, schools, courthouses. Of course, that's included already. As well, because those are places, where people have been picked up and they're very vulnerable there. And there have been a number of cases where that has happened. We thought that ad hoc committee had not met. Were we wrong?
It had not met.
It has
not met. It's meeting Tuesday.
Oh, it's meeting Tuesday. They have only talked about it behind, outside the meeting. Okay. Well, at any rate.
No, it's going to be a public meeting.
Okay. They'll talk about it in a public meeting. Okay, that is good. Is there anything else you think the county could do to protect those citizens? Like, is there a way you can prohibit their wearing masks? or require them to have ID so we can hold them accountable at some point. That would be a good thing to consider, because right now, as we've seen in a number of communities around the country, they're really lawless. They are lawless. So whatever you can do, and a lot of communities have been able to pass ordinances, rules. I mean, I was just reading about Denver this last week, but the list is pretty extensive these days, and I don't have the whole list. But communities have been able to do some things that curb this. Nobody else is going to do it. It's not going to end. It's been going on here since last summer, and it's not going to end until somebody does something about it. The federal government won't, the states probably well, that's not going to work there. So we need the county to do something. So the rest of us can do what we can, along with you, to do what's right. Thank you. Oh, I didn't even, yeah, I'm from Rochester Hills. Okay.
Rochester Hills in the house. All right, I'm going to break, and this is the last time I'm going to break from protocol, because I think it's also important to realize, and I've heard information about powers the county has and doesn't have, and so for everyone in the audience, that as a county, that we have our powers that are prescriptive based on the optional unified form of county government. Us and Bay County are the same, or organized the same way. We have charter counties, which is Macomb and Wayne, and all the other counties are organized in a different way. As a county, we don't have jurisdiction over schools, and we don't have jurisdiction over churches and a lot of these other areas. And I've talked to many people who've said, that can the county do something? We don't have the statutory or constitutional power over those areas. You lay on top of that home rule, and the 62 local communities, cities, townships, and villages that make up Oakland County, they have varying degrees of authority, some more flexible than our very prescriptive county government. So this is why, as we have talked, and the policy that we adopted at the last meeting was designed to do things that in consultation with our attorney, that we are very confident we stand on strong legal authority to make certain that ICE doesn't get to run roughshod in our county facilities in the non-public areas. And it was passed by wide margins. There were some other things that were listed. If the state were to grant us additional powers, there's additional things that we could do. But those powers have to be granted the state. And as a board, we also took step to advocate for legislative changes that would give us authorities. Masks is one that comes to mind, to be able to do that. And that's why you're not seeing counties adopt similar, like banning the use of masks, because they frankly do not have the authority to do it. Do we need the authority to do it? Yes. Have we called for the authority to do it? Yes. And we will continue to call for the authority, and the previous comments stand in solidarity with the sentiment, the anger and frustration about what ICE is doing on a national stage and in our communities, and we'll continue to look at every opportunity that we have available to us to protect our residents.
Oakland County can make ICE out of
Commissioner
public
Cavell,
areas.
once again, that
Oakland County can grant money to legal aid.
Commissioner
Oakland County can
Cavell,
grant money
Commissioner
to food
Cavell,
aid. Oakland County
thank you.
can make a 287
We're
resolution.
moving
And again, Oakland
to
County
Alexis
can ban
Cromie.
ICE
Commissioner
from
Cavell,
public areas.
Commissioner Cavell, if you
at the
continue to
county.
disrupt these proceedings. Thank you. Commissioner Alexis Cromie. Is Alexis Cromie? Yes, I'm sorry. Yes. Alexis, you're still here. Welcome.
Hi, as mentioned, my name is Alexis Cromie. I am a Pontiac resident. I teach high school social studies in Birmingham. I've been asked by Emily, an esteemed member of the Community Aid for Empowerment, to deliver this message. I applaud your efforts to keep our community safe, and by community, I am of course including the many residents who have come here from all over the globe to contribute to our local economy and culture. I would also like to thank you for supporting the 3 state bills protecting sensitive locations, requiring local police forces to focus on enforcing local laws and public safety, and requiring ICE to follow standard law enforcement procedures. I stand here today urging you to pass local ordinances with teeth, truly protecting our residents from these growing, well-documented ICE abuses and overreach. As an Oakland County resident, I am concerned that the current administration may take revenge on local sanctuary jurisdictions. How do we defend ourselves against this unconstitutional abuse of power? Do we obey in advance out of fear in the face of this abuse? No, we can't. That is how our democracy dies. I'm glad to see you all seeking the advice of the county attorneys and exploring how we can defend ourselves against these abuses. I look forward to hearing their advice, as I imagine we all do. You've campaigned for transparency in government, and I'm disillusioned and disappointed that you are not upholding your promises. I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you. Supervisor Barnett.
Good evening. I might need a few seconds of that time, so thank you. And I'm reading, and I never read. I never write what I say, but I thought I wanted to stay on topic. Chair and commissioners, good evening. I know all of you. I'm going to start with something very simple. In Orion Township, we exist to provide the best service in local government. And we have 40,000 bosses. And frankly, when it comes to working with local and community partners, Oakland County has become the worst. As I've been asked and challenged in this building before, I absolutely have the receipts. Over the past 2 years, 5 separate times, we've been kept in the dark on issues that directly impact our residents and our budgets. 5, dispatch contracts, police services contracts, water resource contracts, assessing contracts, TIFA policy changes, and then the transit millage study that we had to literally beg to get the local providers invited to the same table. Not once were locals brought in, and usually we found out after the fact. So here we are again, at a place I sincerely don't want to be, where the only place local leaders can be heard is right here, in 3 minutes of public comment. I emailed you all, every one of you back in December, about the TIFA issue. Out of this entire board, 2 of you responded. 2, and many of you are my friends. Meanwhile, the list of decisions made without local input continues to grow. Every single one of these affects the communities we, the local level, and you also represent on the ground. And every single time we've been told, next time it will be different. But next time, it never is. We incurred a 36% increase to police services over 3 years, with virtually no information shared with us, with the 12 communities that had to swallow that bitter pill and adjust and adapt in less than 30 days. We had to fight for and were promised a true-up review of the rates we were supposed to get in November. Then we were promised February 12th. Then February 23rd was the drop-dead date. It's now March 11th. At the State of the State address, I talked to Executive Coulter. He told me he'd look into it and get back with me. At the State of the County address, I spoke with Deputy CFO Cheryl Johnson and CFO Brian Leffler, and they told me the rate reviews were done but needed to be quote-unquote blessed by Chair Woodward. And just before this meeting, Chair Woodward told me fiscal reports to Executive Coulter. Honestly, I don't care who reports to who. Executive Coulter has told me 5 different times he would circle back with his team and then meet with me. He told me he would bring our CFO, quote-unquote, and open the books. Well, I'll let you all guess how many times I've met with Executive Coulter. He told me these policies are not the executive office's policies. That's his office. But he said to me multiple times, I'm confusing him with the chair of this board. And he told me none of this was his process, but it's been this board's process. In Orion, in my community, I have a millage planning meeting on Monday. We have a proposed tax increase going to our residents, and we have no idea what we're asking them for. This is not transparency. This is not collaboration. This doesn't build trust. And unfortunately, we keep hearing that in this conference room all the time. I'm the current president for the last decade of the Supervisors Association, past chair of Southeast Michigan Council of Governments, serial networker with my peers, both R's and D's. I can tell you something very clearly. The frustration,
Supervisor Barnett, please
I'm
wrap
almost
up
done.
your
I'm going to use a minute from the other person.
No, you're not.
Supervisors?
Supervisor, everyone here is waiting to speak, Supervisor.
I'm almost done.
No, you are done. I've given you more time.
I haven't had the opportunity to meet with anyone. So supervisors,
Supervisor
mayors, city
Barnett,
councils,
you have my phone
township
number.
board
You and I
members
have talked.
across this county, Republicans
Supervisor
and Democrats
Barnett,
feel the same way.
Your time is
Local
expired,
governments
so that
are not,
other people can speak.
We're not asking for control. We're asking for communication and a seat at the table.
Supervisor Barnett. Thank you.
Would anyone yield me 30 seconds of
No,
their
there is
time?
no yielding. There is no yielding other times.
Okay.
Thank you. Next person, Laura Vogel. This will be able to speak on any topic. No. Commissioner Vogel. Ms. Vogel, sorry.
Whoops. Sorry. Hi. I am a founding member of the Lawyers for Good Government in the Detroit chapter. I'm a past president of the Women Lawyers Association of Michigan. I know Ann, I know Yolanda, I know Bob, I know you. I'm just I'm stating that it's hard for me to talk. I'm sorry. I want the clemis and the legal aid and the food for families and all of that. But I'm also concerned about the elections. And I'm an elections worker in Detroit as well as White Lake. And I don't hopefully expect any difficulties in White Lake, but I can guarantee you that there will be interference with the Detroit elections. And so I beg of you to stand for all of local government, including Wayne County and the city of Detroit, to present a unified force to protect our elections. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Megan Callahan. Again.
Did you say Megan?
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes. The mic moved away from me.
Take two. Thank you so much for all the work that you've been doing to support our local communities at this time. It's a very overwhelming time for all of us, for you as leaders, for us as people who are trying to advocate. I'm here tonight also because I've talked to many friends and neighbors who wanted to be here tonight, but they're not here because they're afraid to come. They're afraid to be arrested or detained unlawfully, but they're so grateful to you for everything you're doing to advocate on their behalf. This week I spoke with 3 families who have had people deported or detained, and they're women left at home with kids who are trying to meet the needs. So I would ask, as has been asked before, for legal aid funds, which are being asked right now to go to these families. What's happening, they're reporting, is that they're paying legal fees, and then because they can't work or because their breadwinner is detained, they don't have money to pay their other monthly bills, their rent, their utilities, and food. So it's a big financial crisis. Also, we need the legal aid because it's so difficult for them to find lawyers to represent them fully at hearings. There's legal aid resources that they can call that are Spanish speaking and other languages, but they are having difficulty at the detention centers, the one in Midland or in Baldwin, being able to get full legal representation for their hearings. So people have hearings coming up next week. They still haven't been able to get pro bono help or other help otherwise. So I think Commissioner Cavell's comment that our county can give more funds than are being proposed today, I think that's very, very important because our local economy is being affected because people aren't working, they're not going shopping, and they don't have any money to spend because they're not able to work. And there's also a problem that work authorizations on work visas are not being renewed, even when people do have the right paperwork. So there are a lot of people who can't go back to work even though they want to. So it's a big crisis, and I'm really grateful to all of you for everything that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Danielle Mallon? Danielle Mallon? Followed by Steve Hansen.
Good evening. My name is Danielle Mallon. I live in Birmingham, Michigan. A few months ago, I didn't know the name of my commissioner. Heck, I didn't even know that my cousin, Phil, served on the board. I don't even know if he knows that that's me. I'm his cousin. But in December of 2025, Trump sent what was it, 2,000 ICE agents to Minneapolis in what DHS called the largest immigration enforcement operation ever carried out, even though it was nowhere near our southern border. Americans have been detained in this surge. 2 American civilian protesters have been murdered, and I'm terrified that Michigan is next. So I've started to get involved in the county level and in my local city to try to keep Michigan residents safe from ICE overreach. I'm thrilled that finally we heard that the ad hoc committee meeting, or that the first meeting has been established for next Tuesday. I will definitely be there. But yeah, and it's great that county employees are being protected within their offices. Many years ago, I investigated child abuse in Wayne County, and I thought, okay, if we ever had issues that we felt unsafe, we were told to call I worked in Detroit, we were told to call the Detroit police. So I expect that county employees are also in a similar situation. If you're not sure who this person is at your door, I don't know what training you need other than call the sheriff department. So anyway, I'm asking you to do the right thing, to move forward on this. It feels like it's going really slow. I know government is slow, but please do more. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve Hansen, followed by Marguerite Gupta again.
Good evening. I'm Steve Hansen. I'm from Waterford. You may remember me from last time. I'm a lawyer, but I don't do this kind of law, but I spend an unhealthy amount of time researching it. So I want to talk about ICE and CBP, what you're being asked to do, but I want to crystallize the issues. We're not talking about things other than county-controlled facilities and property in the resolutions that I've actually seen floating around, like the one Mr. Cavell had, was specific to that, as was the one Prevent Lago. So I don't think we're asking for anything that's really outside of your jurisdiction. So I don't know what your lawyers have told you yet or what they're going to tell you, but if they see the same law I see, it's going to come down in most simplistic terms to this. You don't have to help them, but you can't hurt them, which is a very difficult line to draw. What does it mean when you're not giving them what they want? Are you hurting them when you're doing that, right? So if you're looking for a case, if you're looking for your lawyers to say, here's the case that says you can do this, you're not going to find it, okay? Unfortunately, the law doesn't work that way all the time. There are unsettled areas of the law, and with the 2 competing doctrines that impact this area of the law, which are the 10th Amendment's anti-commandeering doctrine and the Supremacy Clause, There is no case that specifically deals with, I found one in New York federal court, but that's about it, okay? What are we practically saying? We're practically saying, look, if they have a warrant, let them come get their person and leave. What we don't want them to do is to lurk around county property, hoping to develop reasonable suspicion to stop somebody, and then hoping to develop probable cause to arrest them without a warrant, which they are allowed to do under their statute, okay? When they do that, they are utilizing county resources. They are using your property, our property, as an investigative site. And this line about telling them they can't make arrests, civil immigration arrests, without judicial warrant is the line that has been drawn all over the place, including in Washtenaw County. So here's Washtenaw County's. The board affirms that immigration and customs enforcement officers shall not be permitted to enter, remain in, or conduct civil immigration enforcement activities within any Washtenaw County-owned, leased, or operated building, facility, or property unless required by law or pursuant to a valid judicial warrant or court order. Okay, that's Washtenaw County. City of Chicago. Unless an agency or is acting pursuant to legitimate law enforcement purpose that is unrelated to immigration, no agency shall permit ICE agents use of agency facilities for investigative interviews or other investigative purpose. You're in a slightly uncharted area of the law, okay? We are asking you to show some courage here because you're not going to get carte blanche from your lawyers to do it. And the reason you should show that courage is the reason I'm here. Because after all is said and done and we see what the atrocities really are, you don't want to be telling yourselves, I could have done something and didn't do it.
Thank you very much. All right, come on, everybody. We got a lot of people to get through. Margaret Gupta, followed by Justine
Hi.
Gabreth.
My name's Margaret Gupta, and I can't follow that one. That's pretty incredible. Thank you. Mine is about records, court records, management of court records. The definition of a courthouse is a house of records. The court administration includes the county court administrator, regional court administrator, state court administrator. They publish, author, revise the manual for trial court file management system, if any, or standards. Standards that every court has to do when they have to file a document, including the county clerk's office. 2 weeks ago, I mailed the Region 6 state court administrator. He's a new, and I said, hey, I filed a court complaint back in September of 2022 and in March of 2023. He didn't answer. So I said, hey, second request, second email. Could you please tell me what my case number, file number, or record number is for each complaint? There was a response. It said, Dear Ms. Gupta, we do not assign case numbers, record numbers, or file numbers with any complaints filed. Good luck. Oh, that was really good. You guys don't follow your own standards, your own management of court records. Why is this important? Both scale complaints proved the Zoom records were being corrupted by Judge Lisa Langton and her staff. The second complaint, March 9, 2023, was very significant because it proved a pattern of corrupting altered records 4 more Zoom hearings after I asked for the first scale investigation. It proved that the first investigation never occurred. 5 agencies, including friend of the court, family court, court administration, failed to stop the corruption, failed to identify the methods used to access 5 Zoom files, failed to provide remedy, failed to hold any accountability of judges committing criminal acts, altering court records. Why do they alter them? So they can control the outcome. Everything's control. My evidence is significant. It proved Oakland County and court administration abused their power to protect Judge Langton. They use Zoom as their method to alter records and control case outcome. They've gone great lengths. My phone number has not just been obstructed by the state court, including the Hall of Justice, Judicial Tenure Commission, State Bar. It has been made invalid. They can't call me. I can't call them. Over 153 offices. I got them all. This is a breach of trust to the public. This is significant because Oakland County has not taken action to investigate, to ask questions, to verify if Oakland County even does the renewal of Zoom. Oakland County provides the emails, they provide the phone, they provide the mail, IT support, office buildings, provide the hardware and software. And if Oakland County cannot do anything to stop this, then Oakland County is just as corrupt as the judges are that are corrupting the Zoom hearing platform. I'm asking Oakland County to take action. I gave you guys an email a letter, a 9-page letter. Nobody has responded. I don't know if you guys think this is significant or not. It is. It's really significant.
Thank you. Justine Gabrath, followed by Kim Worth.
Good evening. My name is Justine Galbraith. I'm a resident of Troy. Someone told me that when it comes to politics, pay attention to what people do, not what they say. And while I appreciate much of what you're saying, I'm asking you to do more. 3 weeks ago, when many of us were here, we heard an impassioned speech against ICE from the chairman when the commission recessed to a conference room. We heard another commissioner take great offense when Commissioner Cavell suggested that it was only the residents' public comment that forced the commission to do anything. We heard a lot of things that sounded reasonable, like it seemed like the majority of you were in agreement with our many concerns and some of our remedies that we were suggesting. But since then, out of the 5 requests we've made, half of one has happened. And that's the one about, ICE can't be in any private employee-only counting space. And I appreciate the protection of our county employees, absolutely, but this doesn't help our immigrant neighbors who might need to come here for paying fees or whatever it might be. I hear what you're saying and I appreciate about the 287G agreements. Just because there's no appetite for it now doesn't mean there won't be. Just because Clemis isn't renewing its contract at the end of this month doesn't mean that that can't change in the future. We're asking for action, not words. We're asking for these policies to be put in writing. This has been going on in our county with ICE since the summer, and every day people are being taken by ICE. If people are here illegally and they're the so-called worst of the worst, whatever, that's what ICE is for. They should be taking these people. They still deserve due process, but fine. But we know that ICE is going after people who have no criminal records, people who show up at court appointments for the very purpose of doing things the right way, people arriving at Home Depot for a day's work. These are our neighbors, and they deserve our help. We've seen Washtenaw County pass policies making it more difficult for ICE to carry out its abuses, and we've seen cities like Boston allocate money for legal support. I don't think these are magical places where they can somehow do things that we can't do here. These places just have leaders with the will to do them, that's all. And it seemed like a few weeks ago that you agreed with us that ICE's methods, the masking, the stakeouts, the violence, the deviation from standards of good law enforcement were harmful. And we know that there's only so much you can do at the county level or at the state level, but at least our state senators are trying. We know that the government could take away money, federal funding and so on, but not doing something because we're afraid they might do that is the definition of obeying in advance. Okay, so last month you agreed that the county should help, and now we are asking you to put that into action. You are leaders, please lead.
Thank you very much. Kim Worth, followed by Martha Szilagyi.
First part of my time, I'm Kim Worth. I'm from Lake Orion, not the township. I'm actually going to finish Chris Barnett's words, which surprises me. He said, I'm the president of the Oakland County Supervisors Association for the last decade, past chair of SEMCOG, and a serial networker with my peers, and I can tell you something very clearly. This frustration is not mine. Supervisors, mayors, city councils, township board members across this county, Democrats, Republicans, alike feel exactly the same way. Local governments are not asking for control. We are asking for communication and a seat at the table before decisions are made that affect our residents and our budgets. Because right now, the message coming from this building is pretty clear. If you're not part of the inner circle, if you're not politically convenient, you're out. That's not how partnerships work. I'll be blunt with you tonight. If local communities had the ability to hold this body accountable, the same way residents hold us accountable, many of us would consider it, because the way this county used to operate was through partnerships and local agreements. What we are seeing now is the opposite. It needs to change. And I'll end this way into my email. I ask you, is this how you want to govern? Constantly in conflict with fellow elected officials who are actively asking repeatedly for a seat at the table. I'm not sure I actually agree with my supervisor on everything. We are definitely different politically. But I think what he's asking for sounds reasonable, and it's really not that different than what we're asking for. I specifically want to call out Commissioner Gershenson for calling me. We went through every single step of that. She gave me her time. She educated me, and that was a fabulous thing. But I'm still frustrated. It's been a long time, and we still haven't really seen a lot of movement. Everyone's talked about it. Super happy to see that that meeting's going to happen next week. I still see Oakland County Sheriff out there helping ICE. It may be through some legal agreement, but they're helping. I see it. I see it all the time. The ICE office is scheduled to be in the building I used to work in Southfield. I don't know if there's much you can do about that, but I'd sure appreciate your help keeping them out of there. It's not going to be a safe space. Oakland County can do better. We can all do better. So I'm asking you to do that with our help and reaching across the aisle. So appreciate that help.
Thank you very much. Martha? Martha? Hey, come on. There's people here to speak. Martha, please, the floor is yours, followed by Shirky Yee.
Good evening. My name is Martha Salagi. I'm a resident of Bloomfield Township, and I am glad that there's been some very slow progress made, not enough, in my opinion. I think that that we need to make sure that there is never, ever, ever any agreement with ICE as far as the 287G. No, never. I think that we need to allocate $50,000 for trusted legal aid for residents and immigration proceedings, and we need to allocate the $100,000 to address food insecurity for impacted children. These resources are desperately needed. My main concern tonight is what I witnessed happening this afternoon with the closed door session. This is not how the people's business should be conducted. Sorry, this is not the way it should be conducted. Not only did it violate the Open Meetings Act, to me, it was a dismissal of the democratic process as being inconvenient. I'm sure I'm going to be going home tonight and getting up tomorrow morning, and I'm going to be even more angry thinking about it. So I think that this commission needs to remember that your power comes from your constituents. That's where the power derives, is from us. And I feel that that's forgotten. That's forgotten too many times. In my experience of being at these meetings, just the disrespect and the lack of transparency, and that lack of transparency has been a pattern for at least a year. I've been observing it. So I'm going to end with this. This quote from an Egyptian activist who said that the power of the people is greater than the people in power. Remember that.
Thank you very much. Shirky Yee, followed by Marion Brummer.
Good. Whoa. Okay, stay on there. Good evening, commissioners. Shirley Yee, Bloomfield Township resident. How many commissioners here have ever been a business owner? Yeah? My dad was a business owner. And we know that fellow business owner Nenko Gonchev died while in ICE custody. I'm going to say his name again, Nenko Gonchev. He died right here in our very own North Lake Prison Warehouse facility. Since January 2025, 41 humans have died in ICE custody. If I had more time, I would read every single one of their names. For Mr. Gonchev and those 41 lives stolen, ensure no ICE on any county public property, no entry, no staging, no enforcement, no processing, no access. We all saw the videos of Alex Preddy and Renee Good, a mother of 3 children. Are any of you parents? I'm a mother. Sister Renee Good's last words were, "I'm not mad at you, dude." And then promptly she was ruthlessly shot point blank in her face. Imagine having to look at her 6-year-old in the face that probably looks like Renee Good's, and telling that 6-year-old they'll never get to see their mother again. For Alex Preddy and Renee Good and their lives, no 287G agreement and no Clemis. Actions speak louder than words. Please put it in writing. Have you ever loved a 5-year-old? I have. Did they have a favorite toy or backpack? My child's favorite toy was a purple bear. We have seen sweet 5-year-old Liam Conejo Ramos with his Spider-Man backpack and blue bunny hat. A 5-year-old detained, a preschooler. After his and his father's inhumane detention, his family is saying that he is not the same little boy. In honor of 5-year-old Liam Conejo Ramos' innocence, allot $100K or more for Oakland County families in need. Please help our residents have food to eat. For those who are terrified to leave their homes and get ripped from their families. I want to ask you, what is standing in the way of getting behind what you're saying you believe in? Please, Oakland County Commissioners, do the right thing.
Thank you very much. Marion Brummer, followed by Jean Bartos.
All right. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Marion Brummer, and I am a resident of Rochester Hills. As both an organizer and a local Democrat, I feel the need to express that I am disappointed in those of you who willingly voted to exclude your constituents from the caucus meeting earlier this evening. I naively was under the assumption that as Democrats, we all believe that every human being is entitled to fair and just treatment that aligns with the humanity that we all share. I am saddened to see that your actions do not embody these values. Commissioner Johnson is conveniently absent from today's meeting, which is incredibly disappointing as he is my representative in this body. I also wanted to make a direct comment to Commissioner Powell. It does not appear that she's here at the moment. I'm not totally sure if she remembers me, but I currently serve as the vice president of the Oakland University College Democrats, and I had invited her to our Women in Politics panel last year. I want her to be aware of the fact that her actions today have suggested to Democrats broadly that she does not possess the values that we thought that she did. And I hope that at next week's event on our campus, she is willing to elaborate on her decisions today. You may be able to lock us out of the meeting room, but accountability is unavoidable. Chairperson Woodward, in recess earlier, you noted that the decisions of the Democratic caucus are made in committee rooms that are open to the public. Even if we excuse the caucus's decision to meet privately, we cannot excuse that you have still failed to inform us of any further progress on the matters important to your constituents. We are unsatisfied with the progress you have made thus far, and that is why I stand before you today. It is one thing to lack support for the proposed resolutions or possess personal critiques, but it is another thing to deny your constituents transparency. I think it is shameful that you all quite literally ran away from transparency with your constituents who sacrificed their time, energy, and money to put you in this position of power. Please remember this the next time you ask your constituents for support in accessing public office, because your negligence to this matter will be at the forefront of our minds. Please do more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jean Bartos, followed by Ms. Faruqi.
Love arguing.
got lots more people to get through. Jean, welcome.
Hi, thank you for welcoming me here. I am a Farmington Hills resident. And I'd like to just start by saying change is possible. Before Black Lives Matters movement, you wouldn't have seen what we just saw in the mental health presentation, that you're training your sheriffs. They have a resource that they can reference, they can send people to when they're having a mental health crisis instead of just locking them up and throwing them in jail. So let's think of this as a change. I also will want to repeat some of Chairman Woodward's speech. He said that it's a travesty what ICE is doing. They have broken the trust with Americans, and the commission will do everything that they can. So what does that mean? How will you implement everything you can do? How do we know? Again, you went into closed door meeting. And then when we ask a question about it, I want to reiterate what the young lady said in the Dem caucus here for everybody to see, that, not only did you not welcome us to your meeting, but you smirked when we don't understand government. I had my own commissioner who I sent an email to, Gwen, and didn't even reply. I sent it directly to her. But, Marcia did, so that was nice. Somebody replied. But Commissioner Cavell is just trying to explain to us how government works. You wouldn't come into my office and I wouldn't expect you guys to know exactly my processes and everything you're supposed to do. This is your job. And guess what? We're not going to quit. We're here. We're coming back. So I don't care what you do. We're here. If this is how you want to have your meetings continually, then go ahead, have your meetings continually. Because, until Congress passes clear and comprehensive immigration policies that can be enforced without, legally, then this is where we are. And at the end of the day, I would like to be able to say, my commissioners, I'm glad during this time of occupation that I was protected by Oakland County Board of Commissioners. I can't say that right now, but I would like to be able to say that. And I just want to reiterate, most importantly, keep ICE out of all public buildings. The resolution is meaningless as long as you're saying non-public spaces only. It's meaningless. What do you think they're going to say about your parks when you go to Michigan next time after ICE has had their hands on them for a while, coming to collect people off the streets? The schools are begging for help to protect the students and know what they should do. Start everything immediately, training your people and keeping us safe.
Thank you. Ms. Faruqi? Miriam Faruqi? Followed by Debbie Duong.
Okay, hi. I'm a resident of Troy, and I have three things. The number one thing is you guys, it seems, are worried about things getting bad if the federal government takes away funding or something, which is silly to me because they've already taken away tons of funding, and things are already bad, okay? And when things are going to be bad for you in the future, good luck, because all of these people would have been your allies, and I don't think they're going to be after you've been treating us, okay? They're eventually going to get bad for everybody. Right now, they're just bad for some of us. Number two is, everyone here, we're all the ones acting rationally. I just want to make that very clear. We've sat here for hours. No one here is fired up because of a single moment or a single, just some small thing, and it's just oh, they just said that because they were upset in the moment. We've sat here for hours thinking about what to say. We could have left. People, we've been sitting here all day, what it feels like all day. So of course, what we're saying is completely rational. The people being irrational are you all. You're not listening to your constituents that are consistently showing up and saying, please do this. You're seeing the public disagree with what you're doing. That's irrational for you to do as an elected official when you see large-scale disapproval of what you are doing. And number three is, you might feel protected because maybe, you've talked to a consultant, maybe Dave Woodard has told you that you'll be fine if you do what he says and he'll protect you and whatever. But consultant money, I see you're rolling your eyes. Thanks, cool. Consultant money only goes so far, okay? Because what you guys have done maybe by accident, by having us all here 3 times. I've hung out with some fun people 3 times in the last month. This is community building. This is grassroots. You're creating things that consultants wish they could create with money, and they won't be able to. So good luck. Do what is right. Do what you have to do to live with yourselves every day. Please stop and just think about that. Don't do what you have to do just to like feel great in the moment. Like truly, what do you have to do to not feel guilty for the rest of your life in 10, 20 years when people are talking about what happened in 2026 and you have to say, yeah, I made some bad choices because I was influenced by some people. It's really awkward to have to say that. So please do what's right, because if you don't, I guarantee, and I'm someone I can say that like most people, everyone's done things that they regret. You're gonna live, I guarantee that you're going to feel guilty. So thanks.
Thank you. Debbie Duong, followed by John Hunt. Debbie? There we go.
Hello again. Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Debbie, and I'm a resident of Oxford in Oakland County. First, I want to thank the board and the commissioners for the recent steps taken regarding ICE-related matters. I really appreciate the attention that the board has given to these issues, but I'm still frustrated, as you've all heard, about the progress. For me, I'm gonna admit, I'm just a mom. I don't really know exactly how things work. But for me personally, I was frustrated that the 5 asks were not on the agenda today. And I do understand that we have the Civil Rights Committee, which is an important step to take. But the impression is, because we have this meeting here and then the Civil Rights meeting is going to be next week, it just gives a bad impression. So maybe it's just better communication. That would be my advice to do that, because we're all coming back. We all are committed. We're coming back. If the next meeting there's lack of progress, we'll be back. And it's just frustration. So that's from my point of view. It's just frustration. And I do understand that the lawyers are reviewing things. I'm assuming maybe the resolution, other things. Thank you for clarifying in the earlier about what was going on. I personally know a little bit about closed door sessions. It actually is very emotional for me to experience it, having to witness it for 4 years. It really does break down trust. So my advice is, I know that it can't be avoided, and there's good reasons to get legal advice, but the public trust really gets broken down the more you go into those closed door sessions. The more, you can just see just one closed door session you had here, how everyone is very upset about that. So my advice is just to move quickly, communicate, as you did. It'd be much appreciated. So that's just what I would like to add is, the closed door sessions really do break down public trust. So thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you very much, Debbie. John Hunt, followed by Paul Weinberg.
My name's John Hunt, live in White Lake Township. If any of you people here live in Oakland County, or especially if you own land in Oakland County, I got some bad news for you. You're living on stolen land. You stole it from my family, my tribe. And I'm going to tell you something else. I forgive you. I welcome you here. Thanks for coming. Thanks for living here. Thanks for raising your families here. And I would ask you to have the same consideration for any other human being who wants to improve their lives and wants to live someplace safe. It says something like that on the Statue of Liberty. I know that somebody's been trying to bury it, but that's what I have to say. Things aren't as the law, this, that, and the other. There's right and there's wrong. Amen. And right is let our country grow and people, human beings, live with us. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Paul Weinberg, followed by Sasha Flack.
All right. Thank you, commissioners, for your support of the resolution from last time. Unfortunately, this resolution does not adequately protect Oakland County residents against the threats posed by immigration and customs enforcement in Oakland County. Thank you for your promises today that there will be no 276G agreements and no ICE Clemis contracts. However, these promises need to be codified into county policy. In the last few months, more than 350 individuals have been detained by ICE in Oakland County, principally in Pontiac. Some of you know me. I'm faculty at Oakland University. Yes, thank you. We support international students, and after 3 weeks since your last meeting, they're still scared. They carry their documents everywhere they go. They have student visas. However, they know that when ICE or CBP come for them, these documents will not guarantee that they will be able to stay in the country. These documents don't guarantee that they will not be critically injured in the streets or in detention centers. I work in elementary and secondary mathematics teacher education. I work with student teachers and professional teachers in Oakland County schools. After the 3 weeks since your last meeting, their K-12 students are still afraid to go to school if they are people of color and ICE is operating in their area. And ICE is operating in their area. They've detained hundreds of people in their area. Increased absences among students of color in these areas are putting these students further and further behind. It has been 3 weeks since your last meeting, and ICE's presence is continuing to terrify our communities. So I ask the following: no ICE without judicial warrants in or on all spaces in Oakland County. No 287G agreements in the future in writing. Let's codify it into policy. And $50,000 in county funding for legal aid serving Oakland County residents, and $100,000 through the Oakland County Health Department to address food insecurity for impacted children. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sasha Flack, followed by Kathy King.
Hello. Hi. Thank you all for, oh, sorry, I'm Sasha Flack from Pontiac. As you've already heard my colleagues, my message is the same. I want to thank you for what you have done already, and thank you for being of the same sentiment as all of us. As a university student, many of my peers in cohort, we've been mobilizing on campus already. But we can only offer true protection if Oakland County is safe everywhere. So I urge you to put your money where your mouth is, because that's what we mean when we say support. At least, you heard it, at the very least, $50,000 for legal aid and fees, at least $100,000 for food and economic insecurity, at least. Because as social workers, I'm a social worker, we deal with the fallout of this crisis. The legal, the financial, the social, the emotional. So in honor of Social Work Month, do us a favor and make our jobs a little easier. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kathy King, followed by Oscar Nervino.
Kathy King, Berkeley, Michigan. Since there's not a single federal department that is following the U.S. Constitution, do not fall back on what the county can't or can't do. Do whatever the hell you want. Sorry for my little disheveled appearance here. I was earlier at the Southfield Town Center Square, whatever its name was, where ICE has rented supposedly office space. We want that stopped. I understand there were 2,000 people there today, marched around the building. And we need your help. And my message is simple. This group should want to do all it can to make it as difficult as possible for ICE and CBP to operate in our county. You too can resist.
Thank you. Oscar? Is it Nuvino? Navarro? Oh, Navarro, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Hey. Hello, everyone. I am a college student. I am studying to be a paralegal. My name is Oscar. I am a resident of Pontiac. I'm a part of the Hispanic community. And every level of government that I go to, I consistently hear that we're not able to do anything. But as we know, our government is set up as a republic where we have the federal level and the state level, where the federal level is limited to what it can do, but the states have the authority to do anything else that's not ascribed to the federal government. So if we concede all of these powers to the federal government consistently and we don't assert ourselves, we risk being, at first it's gonna be us, it's gonna be the Hispanic community, but eventually it will be one of you. And then at that point, there's no one else that's gonna be by your side. So, so these asks that we're bringing forth, yes, there's progress, yes, there's committees, but people are being taken right now. My friend and neighbor, Jair, he's up north right now. And if you pass these $50,000 of, at least $50,000 allocated to help with legal fees, finding an attorney, that is really felt by our residents. That would help Jair, my friend, because lawyers aren't cheap. And if I don't speak for him, no one would know where he is right now. And I am a US citizen, but what if they come and say that I'm not a US citizen, then what? Will you be there for me? Who will be there for you or for me? So I really ask for you to consider this. I really ask for you to not just let time go away. The moment is now. If we don't act now, when will we act? When will enough be enough? So thank you.
Thank you very much for your words. All right, that's all that signed up. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? And if you just share your name and community of residence, and like everybody else, if you can keep your comments to 3 minutes, it'd be appreciated.
First, I'm a resident of Pontiac, of Oakland County. My name is Veronica Taylor. I am been sitting here and I didn't sign up. I wanted to listen to see for myself what's been going on. First, we lost Jesse Jackson, John Lewis, and all of them did work to protect the African Americans. They fought for us to have our rights, and we just had Black History Month. Now we got ICE here, and we got a president in the United States that demanding to do what he wants to do. And now we have Oakland County commissioners. Now, during the election, what are we gonna do where they couldn't come out and vote? Because they were scared to come out and vote. They were scared, and you all gonna need them in order to keep you in seat. They're scared to come out here to give their vote and leave their home, scared that they're children. I have watched 13 people pull up at these people at gas stations. and watch their children be in the car and watch them pull their family members out and their children in the car. What are we going to do? We cannot just ask you to do. We're going to have to start walking and putting stuff in writing and putting it on the ballot and tell them that we just demand our rights to help our former people. I'm a 2-time Cherokee Indian when Japanese sent me. I look like I'm black. My family died for us to have this right to this city, this country. And everybody here that's sitting up here and as county commissioners, talking to one another, I have watched some things that I'm very much disappointed in as y'all talking to each other and screaming and hollering. It's gonna time. We got a big election coming up here, and we're gonna need them. Do you think they're gonna try to lead their house from getting out here to vote for you, where they want to have the right to go to the polls just like everybody else do? Are we going to help stop this? No. You know what y'all just made me decide to do? I'm going to walk and put it on the ballot, baby. Who all going to walk with me to put it on that ballot? Because I do not like what I see in here. And my 4 families would be very much disappointed if I did not go and put some on the ballot and pass it. I'm going to make sure films for them and everybody else that I can get together. And we got to understand, we got to start protecting the people. You all gonna want those people to come out and vote for you. We just had an election, a mayor election. We're gonna have a governor race too. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Anybody else for public comment?
Hello, my name is Anna Morris. I live in Pontiac. And I would like to say kind of a contradictory comment to what many of my fellow speakers have said tonight. I'm not grateful for what you've done so far. It is insufficient. It is no longer a time to waste your resources trying to build the strongest legal case possible when people are dead. They're literally dying currently within facilities in our county. This is no longer an issue of whether or not we can follow laws when our entire government system is now becoming a farce. ICE itself blatantly murdered people on video and faced almost no consequences. This is no longer a time to spend litigating when people are dying. If you're going to put a progressive policy forward, fine, let ICE sue you. Let them take it to the state Supreme Court. Let them take it to the federal government. You need to at least attempt to make an aggressive policy because people's immediate livelihoods are at significant risk. It is not a time to simply waste. This country was founded on revolution and an unprecedented new idea of democracy. I feel like that is being forgotten within this context. Just because it was something that happened 100 years ago doesn't mean that those immediate consequences are built in stone and can no longer be corrected. Our entirety of our legal system has been based on forwarding social progress through debate and creating laws that forward that. Slavery was legal. Does that mean that we should have followed those precedents? You can't base morality and human beings' lives on a precedent of legal governance. To quote an immigrant who founded this country with unprecedented legal systems, Alexander Hamilton, if you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Nobody else?
Yes.
Mr. Flores.
Buenas noches otra vez. Mi nombre es Mike Flores de Troy, and I am Oakland County. I want to speak tonight about something that's very simple, and I think we all sense it. Urgency. Because from where we are sitting, the community is sitting, the urgency that we are feeling is not being matched by the urgency coming from this chamber. And that is very concerning. This issue did not appear overnight. The risk around immigration policies, contracts, data sharing, and all that stuff didn't happen overnight. Over the past several months, we've watched communities across this country, and even here in Michigan, face consequences by overreaching policies. Families living in uncertainty, communities questioning whether they can safely engage with local institutions. Trust slowly eroding. Trust slowly eroding. And here in Oakland County, we have been very clear on the asks. And yes, Commissioner Woodward, thank you for the slow progress that we have made. But let's not mince the words here. Let's codify everything. Very simple. Let's codify it. Let's codify it. Let's codify it. All spaces in Oakland County. Let's codify it. No 287. Let's codify it. Funding for our community, our neighbors. Let's get that funding. All of y'all have the right to do that. All of y'all have the power to do that. And no contract with the Clemens Authority ever. Let's codify it. The requests are thoughtful, they're achievable, and they're within the authority of this board. But what we've seen so far does not match the urgency of our communities. As Ann and I travel the county, where we've met with hundreds of people, and what you're seeing here is the byproduct of that. We are touring the county and meeting with hundreds of your constituents, and we're sharing the 5 asks. And we're letting them know how they can plug in to this effort. And the consistent question we get is, where is the urgency? Where is the urgency? Where is the urgency? Will this board and will Woodward meet the moment with the urgency that it needs? Again, it's concerning. There seems to be no urgency in this chamber. It's very concerning.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else that would like to speak during public comment? Seeing none, we'll close public comment, and then that will conclude tonight's meeting. We will adjourn to April 8th, 2026, or call the chair. Thank you.